Alright folks, GWT, West Truther channel, Wonder Man channel on YouTube. The rich are not, this is part 2, the rich are not in jail unless they are pretending to suffer or to take a fall. And some will do this just to enter into the fold. A sacrifice, a self-sacrifice will get them in sometimes if you don't kill them. After a short period of confinement or house arrest, which for the well-off is just BS all the way. Now I want you to understand something about NATO. I remember videos that were on YouTube showing thousands and thousands of brand new NATO vehicles as well as UN vehicles right here in the United States. They're not manufacturing these things here in the United States and stocking them in yards that are hundreds of yards long and wide, waiting to ship them. They were shipped in. They are storage yards from shipping. They're put in this country. If y'all don't have any idea how much NATO and how much United Nations military occupies this country, then you are more in the dark than you think. NATO wants military efficiency. NATO has partners and members on all 6 continents inside the South Pole ice wall that encompasses our 6 continents. And beyond those 6 continents is more water, more land, more islands, more continents. And some believe that it's 3 steps. Beyond that is still even more. And that the earth is that vast, that far along and that far across. But the same ones who believe in that 3 stuff, they also know about the cocoon or the electromagnetic force field that comes down to meet the surface. And I believe goes on down by the edge of the surface and around underneath to contain the bottom. No argument, I just, that's what I think about. But like I said, the United Nations and the United States protect the big dog criminals. And I'm talking about the corporate criminals that burn down the Amazon. The ones who go and kill and pillage and plunder and kill every man, woman, and child and take their land for the resources or for something else they're going to do. I'm talking about some of Trump's friends who's burning down the Amazon forest so they can grow some crops that they don't even have contracts to ship to anybody. Monsanto's taking over the world. Him and Soros. I think they're pushing some, I believe they're tempting the Rothschilds, unless they're actually some kind of way Rothschild descendants or something. They're all peas in the same pod as far as I'm concerned. But they protect the big dogs and they go after and collect government info and they follow instructions and go after those who have been corporately set up or targeted for destruction or decredibility. And the sacrifices are made, like I said, as chessboard moves. NATO, are you aware, or some of you aware, that many military leaders of different countries have names spelled and pronounced the same as those invaders who occupy Israel? That I'm laying that out there seriously. The accent, the spelling, and the sounding of a lot of the United States, United Nations, NATO, everything, the politicians, the bigwigs, the officers, so to speak, their names remind me of the Israel tongue. I want to mention a movie, Equilibrium, with Christian Bale. I've mentioned this before. It broadens your concept of perception, because some of you think that you're perceiving things, and I go to points that don't need to be gone to. It ain't me, it's you. You're not going as far as I go. And I ain't fussing. If you go anywhere down the path with me, I'm a little impressed. NATO has two primary programs. The Connected Forces Initiative. The Connected Forces Initiative. And their Smart Defense program. The Connected Forces Initiative is for all forces, every continent, to train together and have exercises together and be educated together for the usage of military equipment and technology to control and kill the masses as one united force. Do I need to repeat that? I will. The Connected Forces Initiative is for all forces on every continent to train together, have exercises together, educate together, learn how to use military equipment and technology to control and kill the masses, and do it together as a united force. And to further a one government Earth with strategic implications to improve military efficiency and world domination. I'm going to repeat that again. And to further, this is part of the Connected Forces Initiative, to further a one government Earth with strategic implications to improve military efficiency and world domination. NATO and the Smart Defense Initiative or program, the aspects is United States dominance in interceptor missile systems and direct energy weapons such as the Solar Warden, Star Wars, to hold the masses in threat. I'll repeat that. The Smart Defense Initiative for NATO, the UN, U.S., the aspects is for U.S. dominance in interceptor missile systems and direct energy weapons such as Solar Warden, Star Wars, to hold the masses in threat. The big dog just ain't going to be threatened. And deployment, and this is a little bit more of the Smart Defense System, and deployment and the purchases of military equipment and ordnance such as the American Global Hawk drones for all alliance ground surveillance. This is another program of NATO, the Alliance Ground Surveillance Program worldwide, within the boundaries of the ice wall of Antarctica that encircles the center of the Earth, which is the magnetic North Pole, which all the stars and everything rotates, not stars, but all the orbs and the lights, all the electrical stuff upstairs rotates as a giant generator centered on the North Star. I don't care what you do with it. Talk all you want to anyway. And deployment of the purchases of United States controlled military equipment and ordnance. And that is a worldwide ground surveillance that they are headed for. And this is for sea and airspace to be under surveillance by NATO warplanes and drones constantly, just as 4,000 chemtrail planes are in the air across the Earth somewhere at any given moment. Any given minute or 5-minute period of time, 4,000 different planes are in the air spraying chemtrails. A military pack of military attack dogs. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a good-natured animal dog who has been trained to be an attack dog. The military takes a man out of his natural character. It may key something in that man, and his dominant character will come forth, and he, will get a tattoo across his forehead. I'm born to kill. But anyway, I'm just trying to give y'all some information here. NATO's Allied Command transformation focuses on interoperability in all countries with military dominance over all peoples and NATO builds prisons and incinerators just like FEMA does. And this is done under the United Nations and NATO Command. And all the U.S. government and military are given over to foreign Illuminati corporation, the Swiss Octagon, run by the Pharaonic aristocrats. I've told y'all that. But NATO's Allied Command transformation focuses on interoperability in every country, utilizing the military force of that country to come under complete dominance and control over under NATO. Under NATO. The Pharaonic and Roman aristocrats are in rule across the earth with mass military control and dominance. And until y'all realize that, you truthers out here who's blaming everybody, politicians and this person and that other stuff, need to understand that's where the snake's head is. The people of the United States who bear arms are their last obstacle. NATO and the United Nations and their steady expansion of NATO military partnerships and operations across the earth that now includes all 6 intercontinents has no precedent in this human history. Let me repeat that. NATO and the United Nations and their steady expansion of NATO military partnerships and operations across the earth that now includes all 6 intercontinents has no precedent in human history. They are establishing an international military alliance that NATO can intervene into any nation or region it so chooses to and for any reason that it so chooses, such as geopolitical benefit of NATO's richest and most powerful member states and representatives. No matter what it is or who's in the way, if this NATO organization wants it, then they will just take it, as they constantly create and engineer higher forms of war. Constantly, all the time. I've been doing my personal character videos since 2008 for about 12 years. Researched the research of many other people. I'm going to have to do part 3. I don't have any choice. It's just a little bit too long. Bear with me, folks. It'll be a good, strong finish, I assure you. Part 3 coming up.